So, as far as the breaking news is concerned, there is still no complete understanding as far as the US Iran peace deal is concerned. It is still in the works, it is still at an advanced stage. The way we understand is that Iran still unwilling to give up the nuclear enriched material, the uranium, and America considering that as very, very important. And America willing to let go of some sanctions on Iran, but this uranium looks to be the corner point and stumbling block, if you may, as far as the US Iran peace deal is concerned. I think it would be great if they were to find all their sanctions being lifted, but let's wait and watch. This Memorial Day weekend is turning out to be expensive for the US consumers. They would have to shell out more for everything, right from um, fuel to hot dogs and hamburgers. And travel has become more expensive. So, whether you're going by car, you're flying, and by the way, reports indicate that all the airports are chakaback flew from Chicago to New York, and people have still not reduced flying despite the higher airfares, but definitely everything looks to be on the higher side as the consumer inflation races through and the consumer sentiment has come down as far as the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index is concerned. So here we are. The total inflation for the shoppers has risen 3.8 percentage in April, and from the same period a year ago, which is the highest um, annual rate since 2023, according to the federal government data released this month. So, prices for travel, recreation, and food, especially witnessing higher increases, and declining Americans' wallets as they ring in the unofficial start to the summer of 2026. So here we go, friends. The root cause all this is the U.S. war in Iran. President Trump feels it's not a big price to pay for the safety and the avoidance of a nuclear threat from Iran, the Iranian regime. So here we are negotiating for a complete and fair reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and as far as reports from the New York Times concern, the undeclared memorandum of understanding says that this would therefore be free of the barricades which United States has constructed, and there would be no tolls imposed either by Qatar or by Iran, which means a free flow of vessels of ships, um, and the functioning as before, but in return, Iran has to come to tables, return the enriched uranium, give a guarantee that 20 years they are not going to use or not going to prepare any nuclear weapons. It's a very interesting deal, and I would say the sooner it works through, in fact, before the Asian markets get ready to open in, I would say, about 5 hours' time from now. So it would be even better. If not, President Trump says he's not going to rush through the deal, that when he does a deal, it's a good deal. Otherwise, he's not going to rush through it. So, this is where we stand as far as the US Iran deal is concerned. Do not forget the fact that time is running out, even for President Trump, as the Memorial Day is tomorrow, and we have the uh, unofficial start of the summer season. Also, Memorial Day is a very important benchmark. People do travel out, they eat food, and respect for as a memorial for the veterans but it's also very, very important, a benchmark as to how the inflation stands, because people do a lot of eating, traveling. It's being a long weekend, and therefore, since the our midterms are coming up just about 4 months from now, this is probably a very, very close point there, where the inflation data that stands as of or for the month of May will have a tremendous bearing by the time it is out. The CPI, the PPI, by the time all these numbers are out in the month of June, but pertaining to the month of May, they will have a very, very important bearing in the minds of the US consumer as to how the um, reading of the inflation is, and how everything else is going to stand out to be as we go further from here. So, very important benchmark, I would say, um, the inflation readings, and President Trump, therefore, trying to wind up this inflation numbers, um, the peace deal with Iran at the earliest. So, friends, we believe it's around the corner. At least it's going to open a window of opportunity of peace. It may, however, be a very short window, and our analysis will tell you how long this can last. For the US markets, do join our Telegram group where you get forecasts on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You can do that by WhatsApping us 732 732 2720. Happy investing. Have a great week. Take care. Bye bye.